Good morning, everybody. I bring you greetings from the office of the President of the Cayman Islands Conference, your conference, and wish for each of you and your families all of God's blessings as we go into this very important weekend, the weekend of the 17th of May. First of all, let me recognize that Child's Month continues this weekend and the following weekend, and the following weekend, I believe. So we are not in the least switching our program or focus from our children, but for this weekend, and particularly for the King's Church, the King's Seventh-day Adventist Church, we're going to have a slight departure from the regular program planned. Most of the churches know that this weekend is celebrated as World Adventurer Sabbath. So our adventurers are going to be on display wherever there are clubs in our conference. For the King's Church, we've had a situation, a small change. The King's Church will be celebrating their Adventurer Sabbath the following Sabbath, that's the 24th. But for this Sabbath, the 17th, and perhaps I should say beginning on the 16th, that's when the Sabbath starts, on Friday the 16th and on the 17th, the Sabbath School department of our conference will be hosting what they term a Sabbath School Summit. Now, the Sabbath School Summit is intended to be informative, to inform our leaders, our Sabbath School leaders in particular, but all our members, those who will attend, particularly on the Sabbath afternoon, to inform them of the work of the Sabbath School in our church. Sometimes we take it for granted that Sabbath School will always be there, but we need to know that even Sabbath School needs to be planned for. Even the Sabbath School department has to be deliberate in how it does its ministry, its mission. The Sabbath School department, for your information, was one of our early departments. In fact, it is perhaps the oldest of our departments. The youth ministry came out of the Sabbath School department. The Sabbath School department began before, and the youth ministry was considered an arm of the Sabbath School department. That's interesting. So Sabbath School has been around, and over the years it has developed, it has moved with the times, made adjustments to programs, and particularly the flagship program of Sabbath School is the Bible study guides or quarterlies, which are distributed among the membership of our church across the world. These days we not only have the quarterlies in printed form, we also have quarterlies on our apps on our phones, and I think that has made a big difference, because many persons who made the excuse of not being able to carry around this book with them, once you miss worship in the morning, you'd want to make up for it at some other time in the day, but some folks are averse to walking around with a book. But now your Sabbath School quarterly study is on your phone or your device, and you can access it quite easily. So that has made a big difference to us. You might not have noticed there has been a small change in one of the Sabbath School lesson study guides. The one that was started for our collegiate members, and this began some decades ago, where we recognized that this group of Adventists that were somewhere between youth and real adulthood, had unique needs, unique challenges. Most of these, or young adults, were transitioning from being at home with their parents, being in the safety and the security of their homes, and going abroad or going somewhere else for education, college, university, or maybe a job. This is the age when people begin their careers and start jobs. This is also the time when folks fall in love and get married, and they move out of the regular circle, the safe circle that their families provide for them. And with these changes, these adjustments to their lives, we discovered also that our young adults faced unique challenges that tested their faith. Many of them found themselves questioning their early beliefs, and they fell victim to the pull and the allure of the secular world all around them. Many of them gave up on their faith when their college experiences began. And so the church began to plan deliberately for this age group. So we had the collegiate quarterly, which was planned for this age group. It set out the lesson in a manner that met their expectations and challenged them, given the level of attainment that was commonplace among, young adults. And it was to some extent a great success, because it did stimulate the minds of our young adults. And I think perhaps the thing that made it most successful was the thought that the young adults had that their church cared about them and planned specifically for them. Now, the collegiate quarterly is no longer here. In recent times, it has given way to a new version of the same consideration. Now we have the inverse quarterly Bible study guides. The inverse is intended to take our young adults into a deeper study of the Word of God. So it is not meant to be cursory, on the surface. We are now exposing our young adults who are at that stage of their lives where they are asking questions and demanding answers, and they are willing to research and to discover for themselves. We are now exposing them to a unique experience in Bible study that takes them beneath the surface. They can now dig up information for themselves and become more informed on what it is that they really do believe. So the inverse Bible study guide has been with us. It has replaced the collegiate study guide, and our young adults are encouraged to be a part of this class. Now, I don't know if all our churches are pushing this. In many cases, we see young adults in the adult Bible study classes. This one is really planned for you, and you will find that it's more exciting and more exhilarating. So we're challenging you to be a part of the inverse family. Now, we are blessed in the Cayman Islands because this weekend, as a part of the Sabbath School Summit, at the center of it, we're going to be welcoming to the shores of the Cayman Islands our leaders from the wider organizations. We will be having Pastor Reeves coming to us from the General Conference Sabbath School Department. He's an associate director of the General Conference Sabbath School Department, Pastor Joseph Reeves. He will be coming along with Pastor Samuel Telemac, who is our Inter-American Division Sabbath School Director. And we will have our own Sister Jennifer Kerr, our ATCU Sabbath School Director, coming as well. Pastor Maurice Chambers, our Sabbath School Director, will be the one hosting these wonderful people as they lead out in what we anticipate is going to be an informative, exciting, worshipful weekend of activities. On Friday evening, beginning at 7 p.m., we will have a focus on the youth in Sabbath School, and Pastor Reeves will speak to this. Pastor Reeves himself is a fairly young person, so he understands the challenges of being a young adult, and he can speak adequately to these challenges. So we anticipate to hear something from God from God's servant on Friday evening. And then this continues, of course, on Sabbath morning and at divine worship. And then again on Sabbath afternoon, we will have a joint program bringing all our people together at the King's Church for a celebration of the Sabbath school. The speakers will interchange. Pastor Telemac will also speak to us at Sabbath school time. And then, of course, Pastor Reeves is our special guest presenter. We will hear also from Sister Kerr at different times. And, of course, Pastor Chambers is the one steering the program, so you will certainly hear from him. We are blessed also to have and be welcoming to our shores this weekend the president, the secretary, and the treasurer of our union. They'll be coming to join us on this weekend. Our president will be with us for the Sabbath School Summit, but our secretary and the treasurer, our CFO from the union, they'll be joining us on Saturday evening for a special meeting on Sunday. So lots of things are happening this weekend, and we are looking forward to being with you at the King's Church. Remember, this is really important for Sabbath school members, Sabbath school leaders in the local churches to attend. We do want you to be there. We want all our churches to be represented, because the information that's going to be given to you, we expect you to take it back to your churches and implement. Other members, if you so desire, you can come along and share in the blessings also. But remember that our children's program continue in the other churches, with the adventurers celebrating on their special day. We really want you to take note of these activities. And then on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, we will have our annual Children's Fun Day. This year, the Sabbath School Department is going to be joining with them. So it's going to be a Sabbath School and Children's Annual Fun Day, Family Fun Day, at the Agricultural Ground in Lower Valley. We're inviting all of you to come along and share with our children as they enjoy themselves, as they relax, as they have good, clean, honest, recreational activities. We also want to remind the members of our conference executive committee that we will be meeting with our union leaders at 4 o'clock at the Georgetown Church Hall on Sunday as well. May God richly bless all of you as we go across these days ahead of us. Monday is a holiday, so we will have enough time to relax with our families and get some well-deserved R&R, rest and recreation. But may God bless you as you worship this weekend, wherever you worship, in the BRAC or right here on Grand Cayman. May the peace and the fellowship of the saints be with each and every one of you. Thank you.